Hello, everyone, and welcome to my vlog, the traveling show Bunny Girl. And in today's topic, we're gonna talk about becoming a professional showgirl or performer for that matter. I had this being asked by a student, and actually, many people asked this, so I think it's a good idea for a video anyway. Um, and actually, there is plenty of ways, and there is plenty of different um, kind of ways that you would consider someone being professional. For me, it's mostly about getting paid for what you do. And there is several ways you can do that. I will give you my perspective from someone in a kind of a niche, let's say, area, but also someone that has started in the game quite late. If you've been a dancer, for example, since you were a kid and you go to auditions and etc., that might be a different thing. Also, if you want to be an actor or an actress and you're going for movies or the theater, there is no really auditions, for burlesque, so it's quite different. And also, it depends as well of the level of things you want to get to. Of course, if you want to be the next Dita Fontees, that's something else. But if you want it to be kind of your side hustle, not someone you really need to totally rely on, but I'll give you some hints on that too. So, yeah, let's talk about everything. So, I would say the first thing is, and the most important thing in my opinion, and I see that time and time again, is your attitude. So, your attitude is everything. And to be honest, burlesque is one of the most forgiving things for um, other factors. So, for example, you don't really have to be a dancer to be a really good burlesque performer. It helps, of course, but you don't have to. You don't really have to have a specific body type in which actually you need in other types, of performance and dance. You don't need to have crazy skills like you would need for circus or anything. You don't have to be a great actor or actress as you would need for the theater. And plus, you are much more free because what you are really putting out there and what you're really kind of selling is your own creation. So, regarding this, I would say that burlesque is way more artistic than other things. If you're getting into a play at a theater, or if you're becoming part of a group to perform a ballet or something, you're gonna be a character, you're gonna be a piece of the engine. But in burlesque, mostly you can actually be part of a group, but still your voice will be heard. You're selling your own art, your own interpretation of things. Even if you get booked in the end for, I don't know, Christmas gig or a Halloween gig, that's very broad. You can do all kinds of Christmas gigs, right? You can create an act that's a solo or a group, or you can be a giant present, or you can be Santa Claus, or there is so much you can do with just one theme. And you have this freedom to do what you want to do. Of course, it does help if you have other things. If you're a very good dancer, of course that helps. If your costumes are crazy beautiful and expensive, of course that helps. If you have, unfortunately, if you have a specific body type, of course that also helps. If you are, um, if you live in a certain part of the world, of course it's easier. So there are all these factors, but I don't feel like that's different from the rest of the industry, like in, let's say, in show business in the world. So let's say, so I'll give you some hints on that I've seen, in my experience and that happened in my path. And as I said, the first one is your attitude, and you gotta be professional and also at the same time nice to work with. And especially if you're getting late in the game, just like I did, you really, really, really have to be flexible and open for growth. Honestly, I think everybody can benefit from a little bit of this, but if you're not, if you're coming, for example, my background, I only started dancing way later in life. Um, so I had to learn to dance. And I invested a lot of hours and a lot of effort and a lot of time, and I still do, in improving my dance skills. I do like private belly dance lessons. I do technical lessons, showgirl lessons, all kinds of lessons that I can take to improve my technique as a mover, and just to move better. So that's thing number one. Be open. Be Your attitude is supposed to be of someone ready to learn and to evolve with the industry. Years ago, for example, we would definitely all go for very classic. Now you don't have to, but at the same time, it will help you if you have something more classic in your portfolio. And I say that because that's one thing that's really important if you plan to become a professional. And that thing is, there is a difference between just doing what you want to do and doing what you want to do in a way you can sell it. When you become a professional, you're going from this to the selling part. And I'm not saying that this is less of anything. Actually, I don't think it is. I think it's all about being really smart. If you have such a strong attachment to something, that if you do, I don't know, let's say gore, you know, like stuff with a lot of blood, you are restricting your possibility, your not possible, your chances of getting booked. Of course, you can still have, like some things. Halloween, for example, would be great for you probably, but still, you are limiting the audience that you can reach. And I'm not saying don't do that, but maybe don't do just that. How can you be really smart and just maybe transfer that thing for something else? If you just really want to work with liquids, for example, and you do that with, something that looks like blood, what if it was champagne, What if it was the giant bathtub act? What if it was glitter, shower of roses or something? What if it was something, even if it's not in burlesque, if it's something that could work for any type of audience, and you change that for something slimy and I don't know, let's say neon. So you do an 80s act or whatever, I think you can be really creative and have all of those things. Because your life as a professional, but also as a hobbyist, can be very complete by doing it all. Not every single act you do and sell has to be your favorite. And that's, in my opinion, the most important attitude change or attitude um, vibe that you have to have if you want to be a professional. You know, you cannot just go around doing something that is not mainstream and then go around complaining that you never get the bookings that you want. You have to know that you have to look, if you want this to make money for you, you gotta be smart about it and do it all. Why not? Like I'm not a big Halloween or Christmas. Actually, I'm not a big holidays person at all. But I'm happy to do a Christmas choreography because my students like it. I'm happy to do a Halloween workshop. I still like it. I'm still creating something that I love, and I apply small concepts that I know about Halloween. Oh, yeah, I know how to do those things and look quite creepy. That doesn't mean it's my identity as a performer, but it's something that it can be fun. Like it's about taking things lightly. So it's an attitude of being an entrepreneur, being a business person, being being smart about your choices, being flexible and open, because actually you can learn quite a lot there, even if you're doing something you don't love, necessarily that much. You can learn something there. You can always be really smart and turn that into something that you like a little more. um, and the attitude of yeah, just don't taking everything too seriously. So it's very interesting, like being professional, but at the same time, when someone doesn't book you or something, not taking it personally, it's fine. So I think that the most important thing is this, the attitude, the little thick skin. Yeah, also being just, yeah, being smarter than, and you know how to do it. I know I'm not talking like to a door or something. You know exactly what I mean. um, yeah, so I think this is thing number one. And yeah, I spent probably the most time in this video talking about it because really that's important. But if you want to get to the nitty gritty, like the things I would do if I were to start again. Um, First thing is, for me, it depends a little bit on your style. But nowadays, I don't think you can escape social media because that can be your whole portfolio. And most people I know that started later or just started anew, like because it's something new in their lives, or because, I don't know, they moved countries, and they have to start from zero. It's all about putting your best self and your best performances out there on your account. Let's say Instagram, for example, or TikTok if you're younger. I still prefer Instagram, but really, like, go for them all. Always have a backup, as you know. Don't have to mention that. But it will grow slowly, and I see a lot of people, and actually that happens to me too, just getting their bookings by having people see your profile, liking what you do, and contacting you directly. Like, oh, I really like that, I want to book you for this. Oh, I really like that, I want to book you for this. What do I do to work with you? So it's all about putting, and that's important. That's the difference between like marketing and sales. You are putting these videos out there to market what you do, to show what you can do. And then once people come to you, they are already open for the sales because they're already interested in working with you anyway. And that's how I do it. I put my work out there. I share. So, for example, of course, I have more than one thing. So I perform, of course. And I teach. So my main gig is actually my studio and helping other people, develop their solos and their performances and just grow as artists and performers. And I perform too, which I love, but it's not the main thing. Like, I don't get bookings every weekend and so on. And I'm not even sure I would like that. I kind of like having my weekends. But I perform at least once a month professionally. And um, it's all about showcasing that. I get students coming to me because I put videos out there showcasing my work. So it's the same thing. The second thing is about marketing. And in my opinion, marketing nowadays is about showing people what you can do and letting them approach you because it's so much easier nowadays. Most people don't have to go to an events planner or an agency and go like, okay, what do you have? And then they choose someone. They can go themselves on Instagram, Google a word or search a word, that they're looking for and find you directly. So invest in that. And again, it's more about the time than anything. So have a look, have good videos, and get good videos of your performances and etc. That's thing number two. if you are willing to invest more, and in my opinion, if this is a good passion of yours and you want to increase your audience and just kind of, let's say, raise your profile, I would say get into festivals. Um, they're not very easy to get to, but there is all kinds of festivals. You have smaller festivals, you have bigger festivals. So maybe it's harder to get into the bigger ones, but we can all start, and then you can grow from there. Apply. You can just apply, and see, because you get a lot of networking in this. And we have a lot of burlesque festivals. If you are into it, many are competitions. Um, and yeah, my opinion on competitions is it's not my favorite thing. So I would probably not go for something that's clearly a competition. However, I can see the value, because when I know that something is a competition, sometimes I feel like um, I want to improve more my costume for it or something like that. Because I know it will be seen by people and it will help me with my profile, you know, regardless of whether you win or you get, like at a good position or not. um Somehow there is there, it builds up some interest, because it is a competition. um so there is this, but I think you can really just meet a lot of good performers and nice people and grow your network backstage. And yeah, that's one of the things I really really love doing, festivals. And it's very important to understand that festivals are an investment. Um, some are paid, not all of them. Some will help you with hotel and so on. But still, it's not like you're gonna really make a lot of money out of it, especially in the beginning. Maybe as you grow and then you become like a headliner, etc., then it's best, because maybe they will pay even like for transportation and hotel and etc. But again, I'm the traveling show bunny girl, so actually I'll just do it for fun. I just do it because I love it. And whatever they pay is really like my play money. And I'm not doing that for the profit, definitely not. So, and it has brought me a lot of things. I've done a few really really useful workshops. I've met a lot of nice people. I got really inspired by other people's performances. It was all in all amazing experiences. And also to go to different countries and see how they do things differently, that's also really really nice. Yeah, so that's another thing that you can do, because I got some gigs like this by meeting people backstage, and then we like each other's work and we give each other's work, because back in their country, maybe they have a show, maybe they have a cabaret, maybe they have a bar or something, that they need performers for, and then it gives you the chance to get into that. Private gigs. Private gigs are a bit, I find them, first, it's something that I would only do professionally, because it's a different thing. It's really about, a private gig would be a big company or something hiring you most of the time. And when that happens, they're mostly looking for, first, very classic, very, whoa, out there, very glamorous kind of thing. Not really necessarily striptease most of the time, but the more glamorous your props and your costumes, the better your chances of getting these gigs. And these are people who are really there mostly for the entertainment, and sometimes they don't even know what is awaiting them. It's like company. I've done a few that is like a company um, end of year party, and well, they happen to have a burlesque performer there, and then people are totally unaware of what burlesque is or so on. But they pay well, so that's really good. So if you're planning to get professional this way, then it's a different way, like you're going for these gigs to for profit, and again, there is nothing wrong with that. It's just really not my favorite thing to do. I like to do gigs for fun more than anything. If I make enough to pay for the gig itself, my trip, amazing. But that's it. Um, so for those gigs, I think that networking is probably the best thing you can do, because the most expensive gigs, best paying gigs I got were through meeting people. And again, that all links back to what I told you before, the attitude. Because if you have the right attitude, if you are willing to learn and grow, some people will see it, and these people can open doors for you. So if you have a teacher, for example, for my students, I offer them like opportunities to perform. And many times I invite people from the industry to watch these shows because I know they can hire my students in the future. And and then of course I will push forward the people I know who want it, and the people who express their wishes, and also the people who show the most interest in growing, and the people who show the best attitude, really, because that's what you want, especially someone new. Why would you pick someone who is not like a super big star yet? Maybe they will be in the future, who knows? But why would you pick someone and they have a bad attitude? Like you wouldn't. You especially, your personality will take you really far. And I think I'm proof to that. Because I remember still like the first time, like that I really got something, and that I really started to think that this could be a career for me. That was me not even knowing, like, okay, I'm here like this today, but it's because it's my vlog. But if you see me on stage, and I learned everything. I learned how to do my makeup. I learned how to do my hair. My costumes get prettier and prettier and more expensive every single year. But I had nothing before but my attitude and my passion. Literally nothing. I didn't know how to apply lipstick. It was bad. But I was so passionate. And I've always had this really willing to learn and help attitude. And then little by little, I did a lot of things as a volunteer just to be there. And then I got the chance to be backstage. And backstage, I met some amazing performers that I ended up working with afterwards. And they remember me. And that builds your name, in the industry. And yeah, and I'm absolutely sure if I had this just like really bad attitude, why would anyone, like a nobody with a bad attitude, like who wants that? So I'm saying, yeah, I think this is one of the biggest superpowers you can have, being just nice to work with, really. Right, so we talked attitude, being professional, and also being flexible, smart, thinking business. Because if you want to take the step, I want to become a professional, I want to be paid for what I'm doing, you have to think business, right? Getting a good profile out there, making sure your videos or pictures, are really professional. So people know that, okay, this is not a hobbyist. This is someone I can actually hire, for my gig. Um, improving, always improving your dance skills, improving your routines, improving your costumes. It doesn't matter how much you can afford to do that. It can take years, like I have this act all of my acts actually, I don't think I ever stop improving the costumes. I'm always getting the next thing. And it has to go in pieces, maybe you have a lot of money to spare on that, then go ahead, do it at once. But even if you don't, Don't worry. You can do one thing every month. After, imagine if you have a costume and you improve one single piece of it every month. You know, 1 month you invest in really good gloves. 1 month you get a lot of rhinestones and then you can rhinestone those gloves. 1 month you get a really good corset, or corsets can be quite expensive. Let's say 2 months you get a corset, but at the end of a year you have improved somewhere from 9 to 12 pieces, which is actually probably more pieces than a whole costume has. And so it can be a really good act. So it really, you don't have to break the bank in 1 month. We talked about festivals. So doing festivals to meet people and network, and the private gigs. And again, for the private gigs, I believe your Instagram is probably one of the most important things. A lot of the people I know get a lot of gigs through that. Gigs in the industry, and now I'm talking about burlesque. I would say that you would get by performing in smaller shows as much as possible. So if you are in Switzerland, of course, you have me here. I provide, my students with a lot of show opportunities, and then they can get booked for other shows too, because I know a lot of people who come for my shows that can hire you later on. If you live somewhere else, probably in Europe, you could find it. You can find a local burlesque studio, and then you can go there and find. Even within Europe, you can always look for, burlesque gigs. And why not? Also apply for it. Don't have to apply for a festival only. You can apply for, there is in Germany, for example, especially in Berlin, there is so many cool bars and cabarets that have spots, and many have newcomer spots too. Just go for it, apply, because one thing that's really important, and I can't believe I left it to speak almost at 30 minutes in this video, is you always have a no. If you don't ask, it's a no. But if you ask, who knows? Yeah, you just you defeated if you don't ask. If you ask, maybe you get a no, but you asked, but maybe you get a yes. So always ask. And again, all those things build up. The better dancer you become, the better gigs you're gonna get. The better your profile and your costumes and your pictures become, the easier you will be for gigs, either in burlesque or like private gigs will be to find. Um, yeah, I think these are my main hints for your first steps, like becoming professional. And there is a lot, within each of these things. But honestly, I think that's a very good start. And yeah, and from there, you just can keep getting gigs. If you want to make this your full time job, though, I would say that you should definitely spread um, yourself into different hustles. So you can become only a full time performer, but even like very highly paid performers I see, they do other things too. Definitely for the money, but not only. Sometimes I think it can be very sad to just let your skill not be shared, you know? As you're doing all those things I told you, you're gonna develop a series of skills. Look at me doing this vlog. It's for you, it's on YouTube, but one day I want to have, a lot of views and followers on YouTube, which can be monetized in the future. So even if this hint I'm giving you, I'm not charging for those hints. Maybe one day, YouTube will pay me, to have my video there because it has so many views. That's my goal. And I'm just sharing what I learned by doing this myself. So you can do the same. And if you are a good dancer, for example, you can also teach dance. If you're very good at sewing, maybe you can do that for other people. You can become a costume designer, Or maybe you can just do rhinestoning jobs for other people that you know in the industry. Or maybe you're really good with social media and then you can help other performers with social media because you're also a performer and you're really good at doing that. So you can diversify not only for, like making more, but also to share your knowledge because there is so many of us out there and maybe you don't have time to do everything and maybe you don't have the skill to do everything and that's fine. But the same way you might hire someone to do your social media, but you're very good with costumes, someone can hire you to do their costumes, because they are very good with dancing. So they spend their time dancing, teaching, and then pay you to do their costumes. So it becomes this really cool thing where you're sharing your knowledge. And there is the meta version of it, which is what I'm doing. So you can just share your experience with people because that will save them time and you're sharing the love. You're trying to give your best and share your experience so that other people can benefit from it and just follow their passions too, which is why I do this in the end. Um, so you can teach other people how to dance, also online and live. You can teach other people how to sew, how to rhinestone, or whatever skill you learn, how to apply for shows. Maybe you're really good at applying, how to create a really good reel or a really good video. And I would say that as artists, you have this bunch of skills that we do, and you can really kind of monetize, all of them. But again, not only to monetize, even though you could, there is nothing wrong with that. Money is great. I mean, you can also think you're helping because honestly, it would be a shame if you didn't. What is the point, of me living through all of this, loving it all, and learning all of these things and keeping it for myself? Really, there is no point. I want to share. And I hope you all want to share too. So, yeah, this is vlog 5, I believe. So, yeah, it's all about how to become professional starting maybe later and from zero, and of course, mostly in the burlesque industry. But I think those hints can help you in other things as well. So, thank you so much for watching. See you soon.